video is going to be a little bit different. I know so many of us start off with that first phrase, but I think it's going to be different for me in that it's mainly talking about a subject that was addressed today at church, and basically it's just about living your life. I just, it really struck a chord within me that we just need to just get on and just do our own thing. I think so many times we kind of sit back and become stagnant because we're afraid of what people might think, what people might say, how we might be perceived, and are so stuck on trying to be replicas of everyone else that we lose who we really are. And I just really felt that I wanted to share my feelings and views on, just being you and just living your life and just living your life, like really just living your life. As a Christian, often, you might feel that you've got to live a certain way, you've got to look a certain way, you've got to dress a certain way, you've got to speak a certain way. And if you're not perceived to be doing these things, that you're not a Christian or a fake Christian, or who does she think she is? How can she be a Christian if she looks like that, if she walks like that, if she speaks like that, if she hangs out with those people? But what is really important is, for me, in being a Christian, it's not what you might see me look like, what you might see me wear, but it's about the way that I live my life. You won't see me going about Bible bashing anybody or trying to convert anyone. I think that the real key to being a Christian is just in the way that you live, in the way that you live your life, and through living your life to the best of your ability according to God's will and His way for your life is what will draw people to Him, and because they'll see things within you that they might either connect with or want to connect with and want to know more about, and in turn develop their own relationships with God because of the example that is being set through the way that you live your life. And the word also says, let the aeroplane go past. The Bible tells us that you will know them by their fruits. So it's not necessarily about coming on here and preaching and trying to convert people, or just bigging up myself in any way, in terms of pushing out my chest and saying that I'm a Christian and this is the way to be and this is the way to go. No, that's not how I live. It's about just being you and just living your life and just relaxing in who you are and relaxing in God. I think also as well for Christians that marry, I think a lot of the time there can be a lot of pressure on each other in a relationship to, especially if you were going to a relationship then or a marriage and you're both already Christians individually and you do things a certain way, or you try to be perceived in a certain way, and then obviously you find your soulmate and then you get married and you become one. There's a lot of pressure there if that is the way that you already live your life, in trying to convert the other person to be a certain way, to act a certain way, to look a certain way. And if that person isn't on that same par with you, and it can cause a huge struggle even in early marriages. And I just think, why? Live your life, just live, just be, just live and let live. I just think that a lot of time and effort and energy, which you may think is all good and all positive, and is the way that you're supposed to be or supposed to live, in getting caught up in all of that, so much energy being burnt and spent on trying to get this person to be, what you believe is God's idea of the perfect husband or God's idea of the perfect wife. You waste so much energy in arguing and fighting, and spite which you're outside of God's will anyway because you're arguing and spatting over it. But I just think if we could just learn just to let go and just allow people to be people, to find themselves, to, you know, just live and let live. And I think in so doing, that's how you really can sort of develop a good relationship, a good, healthy, strong Christian relationship that, you know, that will be so relaxed and, you know, accommodating of the other person's maybe weaknesses or strengths, that, yeah, it will just be, that is what I perceive to be a good marriage, a good relationship, because you're allowing the other person to be who they need to be. And what point is there in trying to put on a facade and act to the outside world that you are a certain way when you're away from the crowd or away from your audience? You're a completely different person. No, to me that makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. I think that people should be able to live and let live. It's like having a bird in a cage that's not allowed to can only fly so far. Let people be free. You be free. Live your life. 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 To me, I think that's the best way that you can display love for a person, is just to allow them to be who they need to be. You know, God allows us to be who we need to be. If he didn't, then, you know, for those guys that, I don't know, people in the world that do really bad things, he would just strike them dead. You know, he is God. He would just strike them dead. No, he allows us. He allows us to do and to be who we need to be. And I think that that's how we should be with other people and our spouses, and also moving on to our children as well. Just allow them to be what they need to be. And yeah, I think in so doing, rather than the constant Bible bashing and, you know, trying to force a person to be a certain way, I think if you allow people to be who they need to be, then that's how you'll get the best out of them. And also, by no means is my life perfect, you know, but I try to allow my spouse to have the freedom that he needs to be him, to express himself, and not to be controlling in areas of our Christian walk, of our Christian relationship. I allow him to be him, and he allows me to be me. And yeah, in so doing, it just avoids all that tension and the inability to be able to relax in each other's company and just to get the best out of each other. Because at the end of the day, that's all God wants. He wants us to live in peace. He wants us to live in love. And if we've constantly got these silly, itty-bitty arguments, constant, you know, that are leading nowhere, because at the end of the day, he's given us all a free will. He's given us all our individual minds, you know, and that's what's great. That's what's great about us all, because we're all individual and we're all different. And yeah, just do you. Just do you. Just do you. Yeah, just to stop worrying about what other people think about you, or how they see you, how they perceive you, whether you're good enough, you're not good enough, you're like that person, not like that person, because you get caught up in the whole whirlwind of trying to perfect that way, which isn't you, let me add, that, you know, life just becomes miserable, because it's just so predictable. You know, I don't know whether I'm making any sense or whether I'm not making any sense, but I just really felt that I needed to come on here and just sort of put it out there, and just, yeah, if people want to start a discussion, then obviously leave comments in the comments list down below of what you think. I've kind of talked about this from a Christian perspective, but yeah, just let me know what you think. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I know that it wasn't very long, but it was just something that was burning on my chest that I just needed to get out. And church this morning, the word was just so inspirational that I really just wanted to share. And yeah, my final point, my final message in a nutshell is just live your life. Live it. Live your life. Don't worry about what Tom, Dick or Harry has got to say about you. Live your life and be happy with the skin that you're in. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to give me a thumbs up, subscribe and share, and until next time, bye bye. GSF. They don't understand us cause we foreigners. I'ma speak in tongues like a foreigner.